You're sitting here right now because something inside you knows that true healing doesn't come from a bottle. What I'm about to reveal is ancient wisdom from Thoth, the Egyptian architect of consciousness. Knowledge that's been deliberately hidden because it threatens every system built on your dependence. This isn't theory. This is the alchemical truth that illness isn't your body betraying you, but a signal, a disruption in the symphony of your internal universe. And the complete restoration of that harmony lives in 3 principles already encoded within you, waiting to be awakened. The establishment fears you discovering this, because once you activate these 3 elements, you reclaim something they've spent millennia trying to make you forget: the sovereignty of your own healing. When these 3 forces align and ignite together, they dissolve illness at its root without a single external intervention needed. What comes next is the gateway to activating them. But here's what matters. If you leave before the end, you'll miss the final integration, the binding key that unifies all 3 elements into unwavering vitality. You need that final piece. Before we go deeper, pause and drop a comment. Do you sense there's a healing intelligence in your body that no one's taught you to access? Write this: the power lives within. If you're ready to remember, then understand this. The line between remedy and toxin exists only in dosage and intention. The narrative you've absorbed your entire life is that wellness is manufactured in sterile labs, controlled by pharmaceutical giants, distributed through a medical system that profits from your return visits. That story, repeated until it feels like truth, keeps you tethered to external fixes for internal imbalances. But what if I told you that total, unshakable health has always been accessible through knowledge so potent that ancient power structures labeled it heretical and dangerous? This is the revolutionary question that Thoth's wisdom, the Egyptian master known to the Greeks as Hermes Trismegistus, forces us to confront. He wasn't describing chemical compounds. He was describing the architecture of reality itself and your inseparable relationship to that architecture. Recorded in the cryptic verses of the Emerald Tablet, this ancient science presents a law that flips your understanding of existence completely. As above, so below. This isn't poetry. This is instruction. Your physical body is a holographic microcosm, a perfect miniature reflection of the cosmic macrocosm. When the universe exists in coherent order, in harmonic resonance, you should naturally exist in perfect health, because you are not separate from that order. You are an expression of it. Disease through this lens isn't an invading enemy like a bacterium or virus. Disease is a vibrational misalignment, a breakdown in your internal coherence, a disruption in the fractal pattern that connects you to universal harmony. In the 1500s, this sacred and dangerous knowledge resurfaced through Paracelsus, a renegade alchemist physician who obliterated the medical orthodoxy of his era, which was still clinging to outdated Galenic theory. He redefined 3 fundamental substances: salt, sulfur, and mercury, not as literal chemicals you find in a lab, but as philosophical principles, energetic templates governing body, soul, and spirit respectively, which he named the Tria Prima, the 3 primes. This framework was violently opposed by medical and religious institutions because it represented a seismic threat to their control structures. They called it obscurantism, witchcraft, heresy. The truth they desperately wanted suppressed is elegant and terrifying to systems of control. This knowledge places the power of healing back into your hands. Paracelsus taught that disease originates from a malfunction in your body's spagyric process. your internal alchemical mechanism. The intricate system that separates, purifies, and recombines your energetic and physical components. When this process malfunctions, when your inner alchemy operates imperfectly, illness manifests. He showed us that we are, by nature, alchemists, and healing is nothing more than remembering and reactivating that perfect alchemical capacity, that innate precision, without requiring any guru, priest, or pharmaceutical intervention. This terrified the gatekeepers for a deeply Gnostic reason. If you hold the master blueprint to heal yourself, you no longer need their institutions for health, for salvation, for permission to be whole. The three elements of Thoth are your roadmap back to that lost mastery. These aren't substances you consume. They are living principles, vibrational forces within you that, when aligned and activated, restore the wholeness that was never actually lost, only forgotten. This is your liberation from the cycle of illness and dependency, your pathway to becoming the conscious architect of your own vitality and destiny. Understanding this requires a complete inversion of how you've been conditioned to view healing. The dominant medical paradigm operates on a mechanistic model, treating your body like a complicated machine where broken parts need external fixes, where symptoms are enemies to be suppressed rather than messages to be decoded. This framework keeps you perpetually dependent, perpetually seeking the next intervention, the next prescription, the next expert opinion. But Thoth's wisdom operates from an entirely different paradigm, one that recognizes your body as an intelligent, self-organizing system, a holographic fragment of universal consciousness with innate healing capacity already encoded within. What's revolutionary about this understanding is that it shifts the locus of power. Instead of healing being something done to you, something administered from outside, it becomes something you activate from within. The three elements, salt, sulfur, and mercury, are not isolated principles operating independently. They form a dynamic triad, a trinity that mirrors the fundamental structure of reality itself. Body, soul, spirit. Matter, energy, consciousness. Form, force, intelligence. When these three are in harmonic resonance, in coherent alignment, disease cannot maintain its foothold, because disease is fundamentally a state of incoherence, of fragmentation, of separation from the unified field. This is where quantum physics and ancient mysticism speak the same language. In quantum mechanics, the observer effect demonstrates that consciousness directly influences physical reality. The act of observation collapses the wave function, determining which possibility manifests into form. Your body, being matter, being energy, being consciousness, is constantly responding to the quality of your awareness, the frequency of your thoughts, the coherence of your emotional field. When you exist in states of fear, fragmentation, and disconnection, your body mirrors that incoherence as disease. When you shift into states of presence, wholeness, and alignment, your body recalibrates toward health. This isn't metaphor. This is mechanism. But to awaken these dormant forces and step into that alignment, you first have to confront the one obstacle that every human carries. Your body, functioning as a flawed alchemist since birth, has been accumulating a subtle energetic toxin throughout your life, a dense distortion that manifests as chronic suffering, persistent pain, and recurring disease. You might feel prepared to heal, but the real first step isn't light or love or affirmations. It's accepting an inner collapse, a necessary destruction, a purifying descent to dissolve the crystallized errors you've been carrying. Embracing this destruction is the only gateway to true freedom from illness. Your path to the complete health that Thoth described doesn't start with the radiant transformation everyone craves. It starts with the opposite, the deepest darkness, the alchemical stage called Nigredo, the blackening. This isn't a phase you get to skip or fast forward through. It's the dissolution, the putrefaction, the decay, and it's absolutely non-negotiable for authentic and lasting transformation. It's in this darkest depth, at the bottom of your psychological and somatic well, that you're forced to meet the accumulated poison you've carried since your first breath. Through every trauma, every suppressed emotion, every unprocessed experience. This poison is the energetic debris, the unmetabolized resentment, the unhealed wounds, the crystallized fears embedded in your nervous system, in your cellular memory. This is the true root cause of your physical and emotional disease. Nigredo is the crisis that emerges to shatter the false structure you've built to cope, to survive, to appear functional. It destabilizes everything, and it must. Because only through this destabilization can your authentic, uncorrupted essence finally emerge. In psychological and mystical traditions, this phase is known as the dark night of the soul, that harrowing period of crisis, of existential suffering, of complete disorientation that feels like it will destroy you. But it's the only fire hot enough to separate the pure from the impure within you. The alchemist has to allow this purifying fire, which is the fire of crisis itself, the fire of your own suffering, to burn through the impurities, forcing the separation of the contaminated aspects of your being that resulted from years of imperfect internal alchemy. Trying to bypass this stage or seeking immediate relief is futile and guarantees that your transformation will be shallow, temporary, built on sand. Skipping Nigredo is the fatal mistake that dooms any healing attempt to eventual collapse and regression. Because any clarity or wellness that emerges without this foundational purification is fragile, superficial, still rooted in ego structures and unresolved pain. Paracelsus understood this at the deepest level. Nothing is inherently poison, everything is inherently poison. What determines the outcome is the dose, the context, the preparation. The same energy that causes dissolution and disease when unbalanced becomes the catalyst for healing, when purified and properly integrated. Suffering has a sacred function. By accepting this decay, this dissolution, you stop seeing your suffering as punishment and start seeing it for what it is: raw material, dense matter that must be distilled and refined so that the first element of Thoth can reveal itself in its pure form. The destruction of Nigredo isn't punitive, it's preparatory, it's purification. You're shedding the calcified ego, the victim narrative, the false self, moving toward your original essence, which has always been perfect and whole. This acceptance of darkness and chaos opens the door to the first of Thoth's three elements. But this dense material, this repository of your grief and fear, requires a tangible, accessible, practical method to be dissolved. What is this crystallization in your energetic body? And how have ancient traditions discovered the simplest, yet most powerful way to cleanse it completely and safely? Salt. The hidden memory archive that locks illness into your physical form. The acceptance of decay in Nigredo reveals the first essential principle of Thoth: salt. In alchemical and hermetic philosophy, salt represents fixity, the principle of solidification. It is your physical body, your skeletal framework, the material vessel that holds and anchors the other two more volatile, more fluid elements: It's the foundation of your health. But purifying salt goes far beyond biological cleansing. It enters the energetic, the karmic, the subtle dimensions of existence. Salt is the living archive of everything you've ever experienced, functioning as the energetic hard drive of your entire existence. It's not just conscious memories or mental recollections. It's the record of every somatic trauma, every suppressed emotion, every unresolved resentment that you've absorbed and, because they were never processed, never released, have solidified, have crystallized within you. Your body, operating as a quantum and vibrational organism, stores memories that transcend biochemistry. This is what connects to karma, to ancestral inheritance, to the heavy psychic imprints passed down through generations. From the perspective of contaminated salt, illness is the direct manifestation of these crystallized memories embedding themselves into your physical structure, creating rigidity, causing chronic pain, blocking the flow of life force. Imagine salt as the clay that forms your life. When it's saturated with fixed impurities, with unprocessed density, it becomes hard, inflexible, impossible to reshape or heal through the natural currents of vitality. It's this fixation of pain, of fear, of trauma that prevents cellular regeneration, that blocks the body's innate healing mechanisms. What we're touching on here is just the surface of understanding how your body operates as a frequency transmitter, constantly broadcasting the sum total of your stored experiences into the quantum field around you. While we're exploring Thoth's 3 elements in this transmission, the complete architecture of how you shift from unconscious broadcasting, trapped in what I call the frequency prison, to becoming a conscious transmitter of your chosen reality, is something I've mapped out across 9 master frequencies in my book, Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery. In it, you'll discover the step-by-step practices for clearing these crystallized patterns at every level of your being, transforming the dense transmissions that keep you locked in survival mode into ascending currents of effortless creation. It's linked in the pinned comment below. To dissolve this fixity and cleanse this heavy ancestral and personal legacy, ancient and esoteric traditions have always turned to the simplest, most accessible, most potent tools: coarse salt and water. The ritual use of coarse salt in purification ceremonies, whether in cleansing baths for auric detoxification, or in the timeless practice of sea bathing found in Roman, Japanese, and countless other cultures, is not superstition or folklore. It's the practical, conscious application of alchemical salt purification. Coarse salt combined with water operates as an energetic neutralizer, a subtle solvent. It breaks down fixity, dissolves the crystallization of Nigredo in matter, functions as a vibrational shield and cleanser. This simple physical act of bathing or cleansing with salt has a direct, measurable effect on your subtle body, your energy field. The purification of salt is your karmic detox, a conscious ritual of releasing the accumulated weight, the stored uncertainty, the embedded past lodged in your cellular memory. It creates a blank slate, a new beginning. With your body cleansed, your vessel purified, the matter distilled, you experience a lightness you've never felt before, a stable foundation for the deeper work ahead. The science behind this is more profound than most realize. Your cells are constantly communicating through bioelectric signals, creating electromagnetic fields that extend beyond your physical body. These fields carry information, emotional signatures, traumatic imprints. When trauma remains unprocessed, it doesn't just live in your mind as a memory. It embeds itself in your fascia, your connective tissue, creating restrictions, tension patterns, areas of chronic pain. This is salt crystallization at the physical level. The ions in salt water interact with these bioelectric fields, helping to discharge stored emotional and energetic patterns, literally dissolving the crystallization at both the energetic and physical levels. Ancient traditions understood this intuitively. Modern science is now catching up, recognizing that the body keeps the score, that trauma lives in the tissues, that emotional suppression creates physical disease. The purification of salt through ritual bathing is one of the most accessible entry points into this healing work, because it addresses both the symbolic and the literal, the energetic and the physical simultaneously. You're not just cleaning your skin, you're performing a sacred act of release, consciously choosing to let go of what no longer serves, creating space for the new to emerge. But here's what deepens this practice: intention. The difference between a casual bath and an alchemical purification ritual is the quality of consciousness you bring to it. When you enter the water with clear intention, when you consciously invoke the release of specific patterns, traumas, crystallized memories, you amplify the effectiveness exponentially. You become an active participant in your healing rather than a passive recipient. This is the beginning of reclaiming your power as the alchemist of your own transformation. But Nigredo is not complete yet. The darkness persists, and now you need an even deeper descent. A phase where all external light vanishes completely. A moment of absolute stillness that will determine whether this emerging clarity becomes permanent or just another fleeting glimpse. You've cleansed the salt. Your body feels lighter. You're experiencing the relief of karmic detoxification. But the path to complete healing demands a stage of profound stillness, of deep introspection that is essential for genuine transmutation to occur. This is the final and deepest trial of Nigredo, often called the dark moon phase, the moment when the moon withdraws entirely from the sky, when you're left without the guiding light of the external world, forced to turn completely inward and face yourself. This phase is not about doing, not about seeking, not about distraction. It's about surrendering to emptiness, to silence. It's a symbolic death of the ego, of old identities, a stage of grief and detachment from everything you've been clinging to that needs to be fully embraced so that the coming renewal has solid ground to stand on. The alchemist is called into absolute silence, into radical self-knowledge, into the courage to sit with inner darkness without reaching for comfort, without demanding immediate answers from the restless, conditioned mind. It's here, in this profound silence, that you finally understand that moments of shadow, of withdrawal, of quiet pain are just as essential, just as sacred to the journey as moments of light and joy. Darkness forces you to detach from the forms, the concepts, the false identities you've clung to your entire life that no longer serve your evolution. It creates the necessary disidentification required for complete awakening. Rushing past this deep dive into self-knowledge is what guarantees fragile clarity, superficial illumination built on a foundation still infected with ego and the terror of uncertainty. Staying in this final darkness, not fleeing from it, ensures that the next phase, albedo, the whitening, the enlightenment, will be authentic, unshakable, rooted in truth. The grief and uncertainty prove that your salt structure is now solid and prepared. The architecture of your soul, now purified and liberated from dense memories, is stable and ready. This final darkness proves you're capable of receiving and containing the intense, explosive energy of the next element without shattering or losing balance under its power. It's at the absolute bottom of the abyss, at the peak of silence, that you finally perceive the deepest truth about your essence. You realize that the darkness surrounding you is not an enemy. It's simply the absence of something you already possess and are about to ignite. Your inner light, the essence of your soul, your desire. And this essence is sulfur, the second and most potent element of Thoth, which must now be awakened and mastered, transforming stillness into focused, directed action. From the silence and total stillness of Nigredo, where matter has been dissolved and darkness fully confronted, emerges the intense, promised radiance of sulfur. It is the second forbidden principle of Thoth, the force that shatters the cycle of inertia and stagnation. It is your soul made active, your inner fire, the principle of will, passion, and creative desire that drives life forward and births new realities. The mastery of sulfur marks the explosive shift from the black work to the white work, Albedo, the phase of consciousness enlightenment. It is the animating element that acts upon the purified salt, giving it purpose, direction, essential movement. In alchemical symbolism, sulfur represents the masculine energy of manifestation, the yang principle, opposed to the fixity of salt, which is feminine, yin, receptive. This duality is the engine of the work. The alchemical fire, the universal symbol of sulfur, is the divine spark that lives within you, the driving force that propels your life with power, energy, direction, intention. It's not only a destroyer that burns away what's useless, but also a unifier, the inner compass that dissolves darkness and establishes your purpose, your focus in the manifest world, bringing your light into form. Albedo, symbolized by the color white, represents the purification of the soul, the emergence of radical mental and spiritual clarity that doesn't come from external teachers or superficial spiritual trends, but from the center of your soul, from within. It's an unshakable knowing of who you are and what you came here to accomplish, free from the distortions of ego. It is the soul that now sees the path clearly. This enlightenment, however, is the means, not the destination. Healing through sulfur is about discovering and consciously channeling your life purpose, your true passion, the reason you rise each day. The purified fire transmutes energy that was once destructive, that manifested as uncontrolled passion, addiction, reactivity, the patterns that dragged you into Nigredo, and transforms it into essential life force for your fulfillment and complete vitality. Salt was the passive container. Sulfur is the engine that moves the work with intensity and focus, animating it, giving it life. When sulfur is imbalanced or misdirected, it manifests as addiction, obsession, arrogance, the self-destructive consumption of your own energy. It's passion without direction. Healing the soul in this context means radically replacing automatic reaction, those instinct-driven responses rooted in unpurified trauma, with focused intention, which is purpose aligned with spirit. Your passion must stop being a chaotic force that pulls you into suffering and become a force that lifts you, propels you toward liberation, an immense power now under your conscious command. The Hermetic tradition emphasizes that will, which is sulfur, must be purified. This means your desires can no longer be the whims of the small self, the ego. They must become expressions of the higher will, the will of your authentic self. Purifying sulfur requires separating impure desire, which seeks instant gratification, from true desire, which seeks lasting fulfillment. alignment with soul purpose. This separation and redirection toward higher purpose is the first step in taming this vital, volatile energy. But sulfur, being the active principle of fire, is temperamental, unstable, potentially explosive if not held by consciousness. Fire, as the ancients knew, is liberating. But if it's not forged, refined, channeled with skill and awareness, it manifests as uncontrolled rage, chaos, resentment, emotions that consume the host, turning destructive, manifesting as disease. It threatens to destroy the alchemist and obliterate the purified salt foundation that's been created. This phase demands vigilance. You cannot simply light the fire and walk away. You must become the blacksmith, consciously working in the furnace of your soul. The volatility of sulfur is a constant test. It is what moves the world, what creates change. But movement without direction creates only turbulence, only illness. The key is understanding that the power of creation and the power of destruction are the same force. Sulfur is neutral. It's your intention, your consciousness, that determines whether it heals or harms. Complete healing of the soul requires this inner discipline, this transformation of blind impulse into sacred, intentional action. This is where many spiritual seekers get lost. They confuse spiritual awakening with perpetual bliss, with the elimination of all difficult emotions, with transcending the human experience entirely. But true mastery isn't about eliminating sulfur, about suppressing passion, about becoming emotionless and detached. True mastery is about purification and direction. Your anger can become fierce compassion. Your fear can become protective wisdom. Your desire can become the fuel for manifesting your highest purpose. The energy doesn't need to be destroyed. It needs to be refined, elevated, channeled. Think of sulfur like electricity. Electricity in its raw form, as lightning, is chaotic, destructive, dangerous. But when channeled through proper conductors, regulated through proper circuits, it becomes the power that illuminates cities, that runs hospitals, that enables communication across the planet. Your emotional energy, your passion, your sulfur operates on the same principle. Raw and unconscious, it destroys. Refined and directed, it creates miracles. The ancient mystery schools understood this deeply. Initiation rites were designed specifically to test and forge sulfur, to put the initiate through experiences that would ignite their passion, trigger their fear, activate their desire, and then teach them how to alchemize those forces rather than be consumed by them. Vision quests, dark night retreats, fasting ceremonies. These weren't arbitrary traditions. They were technologies for sulfur purification, methods for transforming the reactive emotional body into a conscious instrument of will. In modern life, you might not have access to traditional initiation rites, but you have access to something even more powerful: your daily life. Every challenge, every trigger, every moment of intense emotion is an opportunity to practice sulfur mastery. When anger arises, instead of suppressing it or acting it out reactively, you can pause, breathe into it, feel the energy of it in your body, and consciously ask, what is this energy showing me? What boundary needs to be established? What truth needs to be spoken? And then you can channel that fire into right action, into clear communication, into change that serves rather than harms. The question that defines your success in this phase is, how do you forge that inner fire, that wild passion, so it becomes your greatest creative force instead of a destructive chaos that consumes you? Uncontrolled sulfur manifests as emotional chaos, as destructive patterns, as the root of much psychological and physical suffering. True albedo, stable enlightenment and soul healing, requires this potent energy to be forged, directed, transformed in the conscious inner forge of disciplined practice. You must take the chaotic heat of anger, of fear, of wild passion, and transform it into constructive heat. Heat capable of creating new inner order, new unshakable stability in your being. This forging happens through ritualistic dedication, through unwavering discipline, which form the foundation of all ancient initiation practices and personal transformation systems. The transmutation of passion into purpose is the inner forge, where the highest principles, humility, faith, unconditional love, serve as the anvil that supports the process. You use the heat of your emotions not to be consumed, but to mold your being into something purer, stronger, more stable. Deep commitment rituals across spiritual traditions symbolize this surrender of personal passion to a higher path, a path of service, of purpose beyond self. The initiate takes a vow that transforms individual strength and ego into a vehicle for spiritual development, for service, for love, the principle that drives true evolution. This is how you heal the soul, by submitting burning desire to a greater conscious purpose that transcends the limited self. This conscious, disciplined action solidifies albedo, ensuring your enlightenment isn't a fleeting moment of euphoria, but a permanent, unwavering stability of soul. You stop being a victim of your passions and become their master, directing the energy of sulfur with precision, with focus. Suffering transforms into constructive power, into vitality. The salt, the body, the matter is purified. The sulfur, the soul, the passion is directed and controlled. The foundation is solid. The engine is running with purpose. But the highest, most volatile principle is still dormant. Mercury. It is the perfect mediator, and if it's not awakened and integrated, your body and soul remain vulnerable to chaos, to fragmentation. This third element of Thoth is the key to total order, to complete integration. It is invisible, silent, but it holds the secret to healing everything, to perfect unification. What is the single practice you need to master to activate Mercury and establish total order in your life? You now possess the fixed element, salt, and the active element, sulfur. But unification is incomplete without Mercury, the third forbidden element of Thoth. It is the volatile principle, the spirit, the carrier of universal consciousness within you. It is the master intelligence that imposes order, that enables movement. That is the ultimate key to total healing, revealing the primacy of spirit over all. The key to mastering Mercury doesn't lie in ancient temples, esoteric texts, or inaccessible rituals. It lies in the most fundamental, most overlooked, most powerful act of your life, your breath. Mastering Mercury in inner alchemy is achieved through conscious breath control, through techniques like pranayama from the yogic tradition. Because the air you inhale and exhale is Mercury itself, in its most accessible, immediate form. The act of consciously regulating your breathing, the cycle of inhaling, holding, exhaling, holding, is what induces deep relaxation in the body, calms the turbulent mind, imposes rhythm and coherence on the autonomic nervous system. It is the breath of spirit that, being light and airy, can touch, harmonize, and govern both salt, the fixed body, and sulfur, the volatile passion, acting as the divine mediator between them. Here's what makes breath so extraordinary as the key to activating Mercury. It's the only physiological function that operates both autonomically and consciously. Your heart beats without your conscious input. Your cells divide without your awareness. But breath exists at the threshold between unconscious and conscious, between automatic and intentional. This makes it the perfect bridge, the perfect mediator between body and spirit, between matter and consciousness. When you breathe unconsciously, shallowly, reactively, you're living in a state of survival, of stress response, of fight or flight activation. Your sympathetic nervous system dominates. Cortisol floods your system. Inflammation increases. Your body remains in a state of defensiveness, of contraction, which over time manifests as chronic disease. But when you breathe consciously, deeply, rhythmically, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest response, the state of healing, of regeneration, of coherence. This isn't just feel-good wellness advice. This is measurable, verifiable physiology. Heart rate variability studies show that coherent breathing patterns, typically around 5 to 6 breaths per minute, create optimal synchronization between heart, brain, and respiratory rhythms. This state of coherence is where healing happens most efficiently. It's where your body shifts from survival mode into thriving mode, from defense into growth, from fragmentation into wholeness. What's even more profound is that breath doesn't just affect your individual physiology. It affects your energetic field, your biofield, which interacts with and influences the fields around you. When you breathe with coherence, you're not just healing yourself. You're contributing to the coherence of the collective field. This is why meditation practices, breathwork practices, pranayama practices have been considered sacred technologies across cultures for millennia. They're not just personal development tools. They're technologies for shifting consciousness at the collective level. The results are immediately tangible and prove the dominance of spirit over matter. Pranayama has been extensively studied for its capacity to lower blood pressure, improve digestive function, reduce chronic stress naturally, rewire the nervous system. The fact that your consciousness, which is volatile Mercury, can directly alter biological functions, which are fixed salt, is undeniable proof of the Hermetic principle that spirit commands matter, that consciousness shapes form. Complete healing is achieved at this level. Mercury, through conscious breath, restores the spagyric process, the separation, purification, and recombination of elements that Paracelsus identified as malfunctioning in the diseased body. By controlling the volatile principle, you impose spiritual order on material and emotional chaos. You correct the internal alchemy. You re-establish the lost alignment. Controlled breathing creates the necessary calm, but true mastery of Mercury isn't just physical tranquility. It's the revelation of a higher dimension of wisdom, Citrinitas, which connects you to the universal mind, unveiling the complete architecture of reality. Full mastery of Mercury, conscious breath, and activated mind elevates you to Citrinitas, the yellowing, the stage of wisdom. This phase isn't about accumulating information, facts, data. It's about direct knowing, gnosis, the deep experiential understanding of your inseparable unity with the cosmos. You begin to perceive reality without the veil of illusion, without the filter of the conditioned mind. Mercury at this level reveals itself as the universal intellect, the animating force, the underlying intelligence that governs the entire manifested universe. It's the unwavering certainty that the universe isn't a cold, mechanistic accident, but a unified, intelligent, precisely ordered living system animated by divine consciousness. Wisdom is the inner remembrance that you and the universe are one unified field, a concept that visionaries like Giordano Bruno tried desperately to communicate before being silenced. At this stage of enlightenment, your consciousness transcends the purely material dimension, shifting from the physical to the spiritual, from form to formless. The most advanced science, quantum physics, and the deepest spiritual traditions converge here, both recognizing the practical reality that matter is energy, that consciousness shapes reality. Your healing power resides in your free will, in the capacity of your Mercury, your mind, to impose order, purpose, coherence on your life experience. Healing, therefore, becomes an act of Gnostic freedom, the unshakable certainty that consciousness precedes and determines matter. You are no longer a victim of external circumstances, but the conscious master of your internal responses, of your experience. Citrinitas gives you the map, the clear vision that you are a sovereign being capable of consciously co-creating your reality moment by moment. But the journey of wisdom is incomplete until you stop identifying with the transient, noisy, chaotic content of life itself. Thoughts, emotions, problems, suffering, all of it is just the passing weather, the role you're playing temporarily. It takes one final shift of consciousness to free yourself from complete attachment to the illusion of the separate self. You need to stop being the actor trapped in the story and become the unchanging awareness that witnesses everything. The next step is the secret to making this wisdom permanent, unshakable, eternal. The pinnacle of Mercury's mastery and the climax of wisdom, Citrinitas, is the awakening of the eternal observer, the witness consciousness. This presence is not an escape from life, not a detachment from reality. It's a profound shift in your identity, from content to context, from the waves to the ocean. The observer no longer identifies with transient content, the passing clouds, the temporary problems, but with the immutable space that holds them, the sky, the stage upon which life unfolds. By inhabiting this state of observer, you achieve disidentification from the ephemeral, the temporary. Illness, suffering, crisis, all of it is seen as transient, belonging to the character you're playing, the role, but never to your eternal essence, your true self. You are no longer your fear. You are the consciousness that perceives fear. And this shift in perspective makes you immune to reactive, instinctive patterns. This practice allows reactive patterns, the crystallized salt or uncontrolled sulfur, to be permanently replaced by conscious response, by action guided by wisdom rather than conditioning. You gain total clarity about reality, about yourself, understanding the play of life with detachment, with spaciousness. The healing promised by Thoth is only lasting, only permanent if your deepest self is no longer destabilized by the endless cycle of illness and health, of highs and lows, of gain and loss. Becoming the space, not the content, is to attain a consciousness that is immune to the fluctuations and chaos of both the external world and the internal world. You stop being swept away by circumstances, by the reactive patterns of the mind. You begin to truly listen, to discern, to respond from presence instead of reacting from programming. You embody what's called the soul's memory of eternity, a state of full, unwavering, timeless presence. This shift from content to context, from actor to witness, is perhaps the most challenging and most essential aspect of the entire alchemical work. Because the ego, the small self, the conditioned identity, fights desperately to maintain its position as the center of your experience. It wants to be the main character, the protagonist, the one everything happens to. And as long as you remain identified with that character, you remain vulnerable to its suffering, its fear, its endless seeking for completion in external circumstances. The practice of observer consciousness isn't about becoming cold, detached, or dissociated from life. It's about developing the capacity to be fully present with all experience, pleasant and unpleasant, without being owned by it, without losing yourself in it. You can feel intense emotion without becoming the emotion. You can experience physical pain without becoming the pain. You can witness thoughts arising without believing every thought is true, without following every mental thread into anxiety or depression. This is the difference between pain and suffering. Pain is the direct experience, the sensation, the emotional response to loss or challenge. Suffering is what happens when you resist the pain, when you add layers of story and meaning and identification onto the raw experience. Suffering is what happens when you believe, this shouldn't be happening, or I can't handle this, or this will never end. The observer sees pain as pain, temporary, arising and passing, while the identified self creates suffering through resistance and story. Developing observer consciousness is a practice, not a permanent state you achieve once and maintain effortlessly forever. It's something you cultivate moment by moment, breath by breath, especially in the midst of difficulty. The moments when you're most triggered, most reactive, most identified with your story are precisely the moments when practicing observer consciousness becomes most essential and most transformative. This is where Mercury proves its mastery, not in perfect conditions, but in the chaos of real life. Gnosis, deep wisdom, has been attained. The observer is awake, active, established. The path of Thoth now demands the final sacred act to seal the healing completely. The alchemical marriage, the union where the three principles, salt, sulfur, Mercury, merge into a singular, unified reality. Mercury, now in command, must establish its order, its wisdom, so that Rubedo, the reddening, can manifest totality. What happens when body, soul, and spirit unite in absolute perfection and stability, creating a new mode of existence? The culmination of the alchemical work is Rubedo, the red work, representing the definitive realization of the self in its wholeness, its completion. This is the great alchemical marriage, the hieros gamos, the sacred union, the perfect, conscious, final integration of the three principles of Thoth into a state of indescribable, unbreakable harmony. Volatile Mercury, spirit, unites with fluid sulfur, soul, and both are permanently fixed in purified salt, body, generating a new, stable, integrated existence. The promise of healing everything without external medicine is fulfilled precisely in this state of totality, of individuation in the Jungian sense. Health is no longer just the absence of symptoms, no longer the battle against disease. It is the state of wholeness, of self-perfection, where body, soul, and spirit exist in complete, unwavering harmony, aligned with cosmic order at every moment, in every breath. You emerge from Rubedo carrying your inner philosopher's stone, your lapis philosophorum, which is not literal gold, but the complete transmutation of your impure, fragmented being into a state of mastery, of wholeness, of sovereignty. Your body, salt, is vital, purified, alive. Your passion, sulfur, is perfectly directed, channeled toward purpose. Your consciousness, Mercury, is anchored in the eternal, living as the witness, the observer, full-time. Total healing is the capacity for perfect, continuous internal self-correction, an ongoing alchemical process. The three forbidden elements of Thoth are your three inner powers, your three keys, which once understood and mastered, transform you into a vessel in perfect alignment with the universal mind, with cosmic intelligence. You manifest unwavering vitality that transcends the physical dimension, making your life a continuous act of creation, of manifestation, of sacred expression. Having completed the work, you no longer fear the next crisis, the next challenge, because you now possess the three keys, salt, sulfur, Mercury, to perform your alchemy with precision, with autonomy, with mastery. Your life becomes a cycle of continuous conscious healing, where any imbalance is quickly identified and corrected by Mercury, by conscious awareness. The true magic, the ultimate secret of Thoth, is not the healing itself, but the fact that you become the healer, the alchemist who heals from the inside out, manifesting totality in every cell, in every moment. The knowledge has been delivered. The journey has been mapped. Take a moment and comment below with this phrase: I activate the alchemist within. This is your energetic declaration to the field, your signal that you're ready to step into mastery. What will you do first today to begin the purification process, the karmic detox, the activation of these three elements within you? If this resonates with something deep inside you, if you feel the truth of this ancient wisdom stirring in your cells, then I invite you to subscribe, not just to this channel, but to this frequency, this movement of remembering sovereignty, of reclaiming the healing intelligence that's always been yours. The more of us who embody this truth, the more the collective field shifts, the more reality itself transforms. Drop one word in the comments that captures the energy, the intention, the transformation you're choosing right now. Let that word be your energetic signature to the quantum field. Subscribe not just to stay connected, but to stay coherent, to stay aligned with this frequency of wholeness. This is not content consumption. This is a community of consciousness, a collective awakening to the power that lives within. But don't leave yet. I've prepared another transmission for you, a continuation of this journey that will deepen what you've learned and show you how to apply it in your daily life with even greater precision. Click the video appearing on your screen now. Let's continue this transformation together. I'll meet you on the other side.